Inside the Glass by Max Weisenbach. To understand my adolescent experience, you first have to understand my upbringing. I was born in New York City but moved to North Detroit, Michigan when I was only 3 years old. I am an only child of two loving parents. My hometown had a very competitive school district. There was pressure from all angles to succeed not only academically, but athletically as well. Since a very young age, there was very little time to enjoy the wonders of just being a kid. Not only that, my family is a very well-known one in my home state. My grandfather was the first mayor of my town. Extra pressure to succeed was an understatement. Despite my best efforts to study and excel academically, I struggled majorly. I hated to read and often shied away from participating in class because I was self-conscious about my lack of knowledge on the subject. When I did muster up enough courage to speak in the class, I was made fun of for getting the wrong answer. I was called stupid, retard, slow, and dumb by kids in my class and grade. Later in 5th grade, I was diagnosed with 3 learning disabilities, or as I call them, the big 3: ADD, ADHD, and dyslexia. I was crushed. At such a young age to be hit with that news, I felt like my life was over. Thankfully, I had met one friend that year who was in the same boat I was, being diagnosed with ADD. We were each other's best friends. One day he told me that he was playing hockey, and it was a big help for him meeting new people and getting a welcome distraction from the rigor of school life. I decided to join his team and fell in love immediately with the game. It is here that the serious interest began to develop. I can't tell you how much it changed my life and view of the natural order of things. My first actual practice with my new team was an eye-opening experience. Back and forth down the ice without even touching the puck made me feel like I wasn't a contributor. As Ringer says in his early phases of interest development, knowledge may be minimal. My friend on the team encouraged me to stick with my development and develop my skills at every practice. My coach at the time was a big mentor to me as well. He was always there to give me that figurative kick in the ass I needed to make me forget about the last shift and focus on the next one. I still needed the support of my peers to encourage me to not give up on hockey. During my early hockey career, I was exposed to the greatest hockey team on earth, the Detroit Red Wings, my hometown team. After watching a few games on TV and in person, I was hooked. I love the fast-paced action and I strive to be just like my favorite player, Steve Yzerman. Being from Detroit and struggling in school, I had 2 choices: find an outlet through school or sports, or run the risk of being sucked into the dangerous and deadly life of the inner city. Thankfully, I made the right choice and progressed through hockey quickly. In no time, I found myself in a state of euphoria on the ice, not paying attention to anything of the outside world, only what I had to do with the puck. I was in a state of what psychologist Krejcik calls a flow, phenomenon of consciousness in which I experienced completely focused motivation to push my body even harder. It was in this state I was not aware that my interest was growing. In the moment, I was too immersed by the state of flow to reflect. As Ringer says, interest is often an unreflexive state or process. I came back to the bench and was elated and congratulated by my teammates and coaches. At this point, I had achieved what Ringer calls as maintained situational interest, but I was still dependent on the external support of my peers during this phase. I felt amazing and I felt like this was my calling and nothing else mattered while I was on the ice. One great thing about hockey is you're never done developing your skills. After practice one day, I asked my coach if he could give me some pointers on how to better my game and attitude. Here, I was developing an interest in Ringer's, as Ringer explains, the result of interacting between myself and the environment. As Coach Tyler took me under his wing as the captain of the team, he expressed great lessons for me not only to be the best hockey player I could, but the best person I could be as well. He told me that hockey is a great way to express yourself and to get away from all the distractions that affect your day-to-day life. For me, this meant being teased and made fun of at school. I have reached Ringer's third phase, emerging individual interest. The form of support I needed was internal, no longer from my peers. Self-encouragement was enough. As I got older, I started to care less about what people thought about me that didn't know me. My teammates were my backbone. As Ringer says, interest develops through interactions with other people. The nature of the task, grueling daily training in my case, and opportunities for the environment, such as giving and receiving moral support during tough games, helped me sustain interest in the game. By the start of my high school career, I entered Ringer's fourth phase, well-developed individual interest. Questions such as what kind of community leader could I be after high school? What mental endurance skills am I learning through hockey? Filled my mind. I knew hockey would stay with me forever. The persistence of a supportive childhood coach and teammates gave me the courage to share my skills with youth. I started coaching kids at the USA Hockey Program, the game that changed my life. I became what Nakiui and Toleos call a natural mentor in my life, with a shared commitment to shape me into a stronger athlete. Conditioning my body and mind to develop endurance skills, teaching these kids gave me the sense of worth and accomplishment that no hockey goal ever made me feel. After my freshman year at college at Michigan State, I moved to Colorado to attend CU Boulder. This was a big change for me and brought up all the feelings of my uncertainty from my childhood. Would I have to go through the same process of acceptance? Thankfully, I wouldn't have to. Shortly after moving to Boulder, I founded the ECHL, a local hockey league based out of Westminster. I joined a team and felt right back at home. I even started coaching again. I felt like I never left the game, and I felt like these people that I was playing with for the first time were my friends and family already. By this time, I had developed what Ringer calls a long-range vision of what I was capable of achieving, not only as a player, but as a young adult in hockey. Hockey helped me build what Ringer calls enough confidence to perceive with running into difficulty. It equipped me with the mental tools to be a resilient person. Now I don't have to worry about as much what people say about me in the classroom. I understand now that it's not what they think, but it's what I think. I am still very close to the people from my playing days in Michigan and Colorado, and I am grateful for the relationships that I have made thus far throughout my career.